It's normal to feel scared about having another child if the birth that you had previously was traumatic. I think it's really obvious that you would feel that way. So don't beat yourself up for feeling, I wish I could have another child, but I'm scared about my previous experience. I think that is completely normal to feel that way. I had 3 C-sections in 5 years. The first was very, very traumatic, and after that, like straight afterwards, I was like, absolutely not. Like, I do not want any more children. After doing that, I don't want any more. But before that, like in my head, I thought that I would probably have like at least 2 children. But after that experience, I did not want to have another one. My husband did want to have another child. I just remember thinking, I'm just not sure I can go through that again. I'm not sure I can do that. And then it got to us about a year and a half. I remember sitting on the sofa and saying to him, right, if we're going to have another, we have to do it now. Otherwise, I just don't think I'm going to be able to do it again. And I basically just said to myself, right, I'm just going to be able to just kind of like grit my teeth and just get through this birth and just get to the other side. I don't recommend that way of doing it. What I did was push down all the fears and feelings that I had and steamroll through it. I wasn't really that present during the pregnancy. I had not dealt with any of the trauma that I'd had from the first birth. And that's just not the way that you want to be able to go into your pregnancy. My second was a planned C-section because I'd had a C-section with my first, and I went into the kind of, the booking appointment when you're first pregnant, and the nurse said to me, well, you've had a C-section before, so you're going to have one again. And at that time, I was like, yeah, fine, because I don't want to go through what I went through before. Like, I had a really traumatic labor, and I was thinking, well, I don't want to go through any of that. So yeah, that's fine. In hindsight now, and as a doula now, understanding that that's not true. One C-section does not equal another. I could have absolutely had a VBAC, vaginal birth after Caesarean, but that option wasn't given to me. But also, I wasn't in the mindset for that either. Though there was a little in the back of my head, a little whisper, could you have a different experience this time? But the way the nurse came at me when she said that, and the fear that I'd still had from that first birth and not processing any of it, squashed that whisper. And I was like, yeah, fine. Let's just have another C-section. We'll do that. I didn't do any planning for that birth because I just thought, well, I've had a C-section before. I know what to expect. So I didn't do anything. I just didn't do anything because it was going to be a planned C-section. What I had not anticipated was when I got to the theatre, I explained in detail what had happened to me previously when I had an epidural to the anaesthetist, because that was the one thing I was quite scared about. And he was fantastic. When he gave me the epidural, I did not feel a thing. He was so careful. He spent a lot of time on my back, making sure that he got the exact position correct, and I didn't feel a thing. And I was just so grateful for that. It was seamless and completely different to what it was the first time. But then as I led down, so after because you sit up to have your epidural, then as I led down, what I didn't expect was a rush of anxiety and panic. Everything that happened to me in my first birth came to meet me on the table of my second, and my blood pressure got so high. And then now the anaesthetist is like, Davina, you need to calm down, otherwise we're not going to be able to get your baby out, because my blood pressure had gone so high they needed to bring it back down. I just went into a complete panic. I had learned about meditation through this pregnancy. I suppose you could say that's a little bit of prep that I'd done. And so I used that meditation and the breathing techniques to bring my blood pressure back down. And then the anaesthetist was saying, I don't know what you're doing, but just keep doing it because your blood pressure is right back down. And I was just using breath work to bring it back down. And then I had the experience that I had with my first, which was when they brought my son out. Just didn't feel anything. I was back into the shock. What's happening to me? I was back in that stage, and then I had a difficult postpartum again. So in hindsight, what I know is I should have taken the time to process the first birth and what I'd been through before going into the second. I do not recommend just steamrolling in and just thinking you can grin and bear it. And it's not saying that what happened to me can happen to you, but what we can say is unprocessed emotions and feelings will manifest themselves in some way, whether it be through your pregnancy, through your labor, through the birth, through your postpartum, but at some stage, unprocessed feelings will manifest. And it can also manifest physically in the body, not just emotionally or in your behavior. So physically, you could have difficulties with your scar healing, pain in your tummy, migraine, shoulder pain, back pain, any type of physical. You can have a lot of physical ailments when you suppress your emotions. And they can also show up in your behavior. So whether you are anxious or you're low mood or hypervigilant, worried all of the time, maybe you isolate yourself, unprocessed emotions will show up in your life in some way. We don't get to like bypass it, skip over it, hide it. It will manifest itself. If your birth was difficult, challenging, or traumatic, and that's the reason that's stopping you from having another child, and because in your mind previously or now you really did want to have another child, but you're just worried about that experience, and I really encourage you to begin to work through it, because you can work through it and be able to process those feelings so that you feel strong and confident in your decision to have another child and being more informed. I was just not informed with my first birth. I had no idea what birth was going to be like. I just thought it was like the movies. It was not anything like the movies. And again, I wish I'd just been more clued up on the maternity system and what it's like, and interventions and C-section, and because I had done no research on anything like that with my first. And I do believe that if I had known more, I wouldn't have been in such shock. I believe I also probably wouldn't have made some of the decisions that I'd made as well, but I just didn't know. So know that even though you have had a traumatic experience, that you are in a better position this time around because you do know more. You are more experienced this time. You know what you want, you know what you don't want, and you can learn more. So you are in a stronger position this time than you probably were last time. With my third birth, I felt so much more prepared about the birth, about pregnancy, about my body, about the baby and how it worked. I did a hypnobirthing course that made me feel so confident about my body and birth and how it works, because I really didn't have that information beforehand, and it made me have so much more confidence in what my body could do, that absolutely had a positive effect on how I went into my third labor and birth. Even though that birth still ended up in a Caesarean, I was much more confident about how to handle it. I felt much more prepared for all eventualities, though some things did still surprise me. I just felt much more informed and much more aware. And it is something that you will have to do for yourself, because it won't be given to you. In antenatal classes, though that they can be good, it's always good to do your own research as well. So know that it is possible for you to feel in a really good place, to heal those emotions and feel in a really good place to have another child, if that is something that you want to do. Do comment, let me know your experience. Did you do what I did and kind of push down your feelings and push through to have another child, or are you at a place where you haven't had another but you would like one? Just let me know your experiences in the comments. Do like the video if this was useful and interesting to you, and do subscribe to the channel. I'm really trying to grow this channel so that more women can find this perspective on C-section healing, because C-section is not just physical, it's emotional, it's energetic, and it's spiritual. So also share this video with another C-section mom.